Hello, I am recording this on Friday, December 17th. I am currently at the Willow Beach Campground, which is in a canyon leading down to Black Canyon on the Colorado River. It's about 15 miles downriver from the Hoover Dam, and I will tell you more about this place in another video. Right now I'm just trying to catch up and bring you up to date on where I've been since my last video. So when you last saw us, we were at Valley of Fire, and we had parked in a little camp spot that was facing my back end of my camper, which is the only part I really care about, was facing out into these beautiful red rocks. And I had a hookup of electric and water, and we went up for a hike in the rocks right behind the place because the weather was supposed to turn bad, and it actually did. That was on Monday. Tuesday, the weather got really, really windy, and then in the afternoon, late in the afternoon, it started to rain, and it rained and had unbelievably heavy winds all night. Most of the night, probably stopped around maybe 3 a.m. And then on Wednesday morning, which is when we left, it was a beautiful day again. So on that middle day, we basically hunkered down in the camper. And I did a lot of video editing and got up to date on my blog and some other things. I wound up paying $8 for 24 hours worth of internet so I could upload those posts. There was no signal at all where I was, so I had to do something. And that worked out really well. And then on Wednesday morning, we departed right around 8 o'clock. I had been kind of sitting on the fence of maybe to take a different spot in the campground, stay another day. I had been having electrical issues, and that would come to a head, and that's in another video. But at this point, I was plugged in, and we were plenty warm, and had the electric heater running, and everything was really cozy. So it's kind of makes you want to stay. And the campground there is not very expensive, so it was worth the money. However, it was a beautiful day, and I decided it was time to move on. So we packed up, or I packed up. I wish my dogs would help, but they don't. And got ready to go and pulled out probably around 8 a.m. And I made a very leisurely drive out of the park. I'd made kind of a scenic drive around the Arches campground, which was very close to our campground. A lot of red rocks there, really pretty. It would have been probably a better light and for photography and things like that, either in the middle of the day or in the summertime when the sun is coming in from a different angle. So as I was leaving, and I had the little GoPro running, shooting some video, I probably didn't have the best angle for any of that. I really wanted to show off how the roads go among the red rocks. Then I went down towards the visitor center, retracing the track from the previous day, and I wound up getting on the same road that we had gone on our wrong turn on Monday, and followed that up to two different hikes. The first hike I did was Rainbow Vista, and it's about a mile hike in and back. You're hiking basically in red rocky area, mostly sand, and it probably would have been a pretty miserable hike if it had been dry, but because we had all that rain, all that loose sand was kind of packed, and it was really a pleasure to walk on. Really pretty red sand. We followed the trail, had weird trail markers. We followed them down the canyon, eventually got into a narrower area, ran into some other hikers, chatted with them for a while. Along the way, I let the girls run loose for a little while just to get their energy going. They're not accustomed to being on a leash all the time and spending so much time cooped up. So there was nobody on the trail. I was keeping an eye on them, and it was a really good opportunity to let them run a little bit. We got to the end of the trail. It ended really abruptly at a drop-off to what they call Fire Canyon. And from there, we just turned around and walked back. What's neat about the park is that there are lots of these little arches, places where the wind or the water has carved away the red stone, and there's all these holes in the rock, and it's really kind of interesting. From there, we drove to the end of the road. Basically, it goes north, and then it has this bend. And at the bend, there is a dirt road that leads north out of the park. And there was a gate there, but there were also some police cars there. There were some drone operators there. There was a big motorhome there, and it turns out that they were shooting a car commercial out in that area. So that road gate was open. But I talked to the guy there and he says it's normally closed and that the road actually ends a little bit further up. I had seen on a map, it looked like a way you could get into the park from the north, and I thought maybe it would be kind of neat to go out that way and camp out in the desert out there, but that was a no-go. We turned around and came back past the Rainbow Vista where we had hiked, and we got to Mouse Tank's Trail, which is a really short trail. I think the total is 3/4 of a mile. I can't remember if that was round trip or each way. Either way, it's a very short trail, and you're in a red rock canyon the whole way, and there are petroglyphs on the walls in parts of the canyon, and that's kind of interesting to see. I hadn't seen petroglyphs for quite a while. So we hiked down to the end, saw some petroglyphs. Again, another abrupt end to the trail. It just dropped off into like a slot canyon. I guess when the water runs, it's probably a waterfall in there. And we took a little side trip off the trail, and there was a really interesting rock formation up on the side that I spotted and got some pictures of. So that was kind of neat. From there, we drove out of the park. I wanted to do a third hike, but I talked myself out of it. I was going to do the something called Elephant Trail, and I talked myself out of it. We did stop at the visitor center to look around a little because I hadn't done that earlier, and just basically left the park. From there, we went into Lake Mead National Recreation Area, and we did some off-the-grid camping overnight, but we did a little exploring first, and I will discuss all of that in the next video. So I hope you will keep checking in. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.